we'll learn more about testing as part of this series. And as we have seen in the last video, the testing techniques, the software testing techniques, how we used in the test design with an example. So we have seen for the boundary value analysis and equivalence partitioning, and we have seen examples how the those techniques are used and where we can apply and what are the different examples. Also, we have seen like decision table testing, and I will give the link for the last video in the description also. You can go through it. And today we will continue the uh, testing techniques. So in today's session, we will go about what is state transition testing, and we'll see the diagram of it, and also we'll see how the technique works and the examples, and what is the use case testing, and also we'll briefly go over those how we can develop that use case testing techniques as well as an example. And last, we'll see about the error guessing. So that is also one part of the testing techniques. So so first will be state transition testing. Okay. So what is state transition testing? Okay. So state transition testing is basically a testing technique that is carried out to observe the behavior of the system or the application for a different input conditions passed in a sequence. Okay. So in this type of testing, both we will give a positive and negative values, and the behavior of the system will be observed. So how it behaves when we give the different input to the system or the application. So those things we will test as part of the state transition testing. Okay. So coming to an example. So here I will go over the login page where we will have a different states changes in the part of login case. So first case will be like we will be clicking on the login page. Okay. So when we click on the login, so what happens is if we are giving a both correct and username and password at a first attempt, so in that case you can see here first state will be a login case, and second state will be the first attempt. Like in first attempt, if we are giving a correct password, the user will get logged in. So if we are not giving a correct username or a password, in that case it will considered as a second attempt. So first attempt will get failed. So we have to go to the second attempt, and in this second attempt, if we give the user ID and password correct at the second attempt, so user should be able to log in, and it goes to the login homepage. I mean the home page after the login. And if the second attempt also, if the user gives incorrect and user ID password, it will go to the third attempt. So in any most of the applications, the user will be allowed to give user ID and password or the correct user ID and password maximum like 3 attempts. Okay. So considering that, so this state transition will be tested, and this only like 3 attempts usually is restricted, because to avoid the hackers or the people who are trying to attempt or log into the system, the security purpose, they usually provide 3 attempts, and this 3 attempt is to only for the mainly like if the user I mean by mistake enters the user ID password, in that case he can correct it in these 3 attempts. So that's the reason they provide a 3 attempts, and these are the different transition states. So in the third attempt, if he provides a user correct username or a password, both, then it will get logged in. But if he is giving a wrong either username or a password, and what will happen is the application or the system will get blocked. So so this is the different state of transitions. So this is how the state transition testing technique will happen. And we have seen like there are different states like login page state, that is a state 1, and first attempt will be considered as a state 2, and going to the home page after logging, that will be considered as a stage 5, because we are attempting three times. If it is continuously like S1, S2, S3, S4, in the third attempt if it is logging, it will come here. Otherwise these 2 attempts will be ignored, and it'll go to the first attempt itself. If it is correct login, it'll go to the login page. Okay, so here maximum states will be like login page S1, S2, S3, S4 and S5, and the last state will be the S6, that is a block state. So we have these 6 states as a part of this login page. So this is how we develop the state transition. And basically you have seen like we check this to check the behavior of the application when we pass different conditions of the test data. Okay, so next technique of the test design is use case testing. Okay, so use case testing is a technique that helps to identify the test cases that cover the entire system. Okay, so the use case and test case both are different. Okay, so these use cases are used to develop the test cases, okay, on a transition by a transaction basis. Okay, from the start to finish, from the beginning to end. So whatever transaction happens, so based on that use case we develop a test case. Okay, it is description of the particular use of the system by the user. It is actually describes the use case of this, I mean how user will use the system, that will be defined in the use case. It is used widely in developing tests or a system for acceptable levels. Okay, so use case is a description of how person or who is actually uses the process or a system will accomplish the goal. So the main purpose of this is like how users will be using that application or the system. Those cases will be written as the use cases. It's typically associated with the software systems, but can be used with a reference to the any processes. For example, imagine you are a cook who has a goal of preparing a grilled cheese sandwich. Okay, so in this case, the 3 elements that use case must contain. Okay, so first case will be the actor. So actor is the one who uses application or who prepares that the sandwich. In this case, we are trying to prepare a grilled sandwich. So the actor uses, I mean the actor is the user who can, or a single person or a group of people, so who will be using that application are called as an actors. Okay, and second is a system. System is the process that required to reach the outcome. So we will be having, we'll doing different steps to achieve particular condition. So that process is called, the steps are called as a system. Okay, and the end result which gives an outcome, that is a goal. So these 3 things should be part of use case. Actor should be there, system should be there, as well as the goal. Okay, so coming to our example of preparing a grilled sandwich. So here actor will be a cook who will be preparing the sandwich. Okay, so second one will be the system. System is like, as I told, it will have a different steps to achieve that goal. Okay, so first what we have to do, we have to melt a butter in a frying pan, then place the sandwich on the pan and turn the sandwich with a spatula, and then remove the sandwich from the pan and place it on the plate. So our main goal is to place the grilled sandwich on the plate so that the user can eat it. So this is how use case will be developed. Okay, so use case and test case are the 2 important terms in the context of software testing. So use case tells how the system will behave or performs certain tasks provided the given condition, and the test case contains the actual test data, set of instructions to the system and expected results of the interaction with the system. Okay, so we'll know more about the use case and test case, how it is different, different. The differences, the important difference of the between use case and test cases are based on the different key parameters. Like for example, if you are seeing the objective of the use case is to a certain certain output after the set of operation. So to get the output, that is the intention of the or objective of the use case. But the objective of the test case is to ensure that system is working fine for a given instructions and the required results. Okay, and coming to the definition, use case is represents an actions which describes the behavior of the system to do a particular task, and whereas the test case is the test data which contains test data or a set of instructions to follow the results following the instructions. So this is a difference between the use case and test case. And coming to the source, how the use case will be developed is like, for the source of use case development is prepared with the requirements, whereas test case are developed based on the use cases. Okay, and use case are required. With the requirement documents, and test case are required with the test data and test scripts. Okay, and the output of the use case is like end result is an important steps, and all the steps executed together in the use cases. Okay, but in test cases we'll have importance of all test steps may have a separate results. So for each test case, we will be having an expected result. But in use case, that is not the case. Though we'll have multiple steps, but end result will be our goal. So that is a use case. And as of, compared to the user perspective, like business users will execute the use cases, and test case will be executed by the testers. So this is the difference between use case and test case. Um, so we have seen how use case testing technique will be used, and we'll go over the last technique, which is on the error guessing. Okay, so error guessing is a software testing technique on a guessing the error which can prevail the code. Okay, it is an experience based testing technique where the test analyst uses his or her experience to guess the problematic area of the application. So it is mainly based on the guessing the area of the error, like how, where can I get the errors. So this will come based on the experience. So that's the reason it is considered as experience based testing techniques. So the technique necessarily requires some skills, okay, and the experience of the testers. Okay, so what skills they should have to do error guessing? Okay, so the first one, they should have a previous experience of the testing or a similar application. Then they can easily guess which area they can find an issue or a bug. Okay, and next one will be understanding of the system. So the person who is going to test it, he should have a complete understanding of the system. Then he will be able to find the defects in that, or he will be able to guess the errors. Okay, and the third one is knowledge of typical implementation errors, usually where the implementation errors will be there. So those knowledge should be there. So based on that, he can guess the errors. And another skill he should have is remember previously troubled areas. Means like similar application, if he has tested it, he will know like which area usually the errors will come. Based on that, he will guess it. So that is like remembering a previous troubled areas. And also we need to have historical data and the test results. So this will help, like if we have historical data of bugs, based on that we can go and check which area most of the errors are coming. And also like test results will also gives us like where the results are failed. So those, based on those things, like we can do the error guessing. So I will give one example of error guessing. So entering a blank space in the text field, this is also considered as a error guessing. Okay, and pressing the submit button without entering the data. So when you press the enter button without entering any data, so how the application behaves. So this will come by experience. So in these cases, usually the errors will come in some applications. Then we have to guess with this skills. Okay, and then entering the invalid parameters, email address instead of a phone number, etc. Okay, and uploading the files that exceeds the maximum limit, and so on. So these are all the different kinds of examples for the error guessing. So keep watching about the testing tips and tricks, which will help you. And in the next video, I'm going to cover on the test management and the control. As part of test management, we need to do a test estimation techniques and how we do the test estimation. So we'll go step by step, and also we'll create a test plan how the test plan will be created. So those things also we will see as a part of next video. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.